if the war in Ukraine is only the beginning? What if Europe is next? A new intelligence-based assessment is raising serious concerns about whether Russia could expand its military ambitions beyond Ukraine. While some voices dismiss the possibility, others warn that the danger may be closer than many believe. Recent reports suggest that Russia has not abandoned its long-term objectives in the region. According to multiple intelligence sources familiar with classified assessments, Moscow's strategic goals may extend far beyond the current battlefield. These reports claim that Russia still aims to fully dominate Ukraine and potentially reclaim territories in Europe that were once part of the former Soviet sphere of influence. However, this assessment directly contradicts statements made by political figures involved in peace negotiations, who argue that Moscow is looking for an exit from the conflict. This growing contradiction has fueled a fierce debate inside Washington and across European capitals. Is Russia preparing for a wider confrontation, or are these warnings being exaggerated? As diplomatic talks continue behind closed doors, intelligence evaluations paint two very different pictures of what comes next. And the stakes could not be higher. At the center of this controversy is a sharp divide within the intelligence and security community. Some officials argue that reports warning of Russian expansion are being misused to escalate fear and prolong conflict. One senior intelligence leader publicly criticized these assessments, calling them politically motivated and misleading. According to this view, Russia lacks the military capability to even fully conquer Ukraine, let alone launch a large-scale invasion of Europe. Supporters of this argument say the idea of Russia marching across Europe is unrealistic and ignores the severe limitations Moscow is currently facing on the battlefield. They claim such narratives are being pushed by factions that benefit from continued instability. This criticism was echoed by former national security figures who went even further. They alleged that powerful interests within Western institutions want the war to continue indefinitely, accusing intelligence agencies and allied networks of working together to sustain conflict. According to them, perpetual war benefits political influence, defense spending, and geopolitical leverage, even if it comes at the cost of long-term regional stability. But not everyone agrees with this assessment. While Western officials debate intentions and capabilities, Ukrainian intelligence is sending a far more alarming message. A senior Ukrainian intelligence official has warned that Russia intends to expand its military operations beyond Ukraine, and sooner than previously expected. According to this assessment, Moscow's original timeline for broader regional action has been accelerated. Instead of preparing for future moves by the end of the decade, Russian strategic plans may now target action within the next few years. The warning specifically mentions the Baltic region as a potential future target. These claims are based on observed military restructuring, long-term deployment planning, and ideological objectives tied to restoring historical influence. Currently, Russia controls roughly one-fifth of Ukrainian territory, including key regions and strategic areas along the Black Sea. Moscow insists these territories are permanently part of Russia, a claim that Ukraine and its allies completely reject. This deepening divide raises a critical question. If Russia secures its current gains, will it stop there? As the war drags into its fourth year, diplomatic pressure is intensifying. Reports suggest that Ukraine has been urged to consider withdrawing from contested regions as part of a proposed peace framework. However, Ukrainian leadership has firmly refused to give up any territory, arguing that doing so would reward aggression and set a dangerous precedent. European allies have largely backed this position, reinforcing their political and financial support. Recently, European leaders agreed on a massive financial loan package to help Ukraine cover mounting budget shortfalls. The move was framed as economic stabilization, but it quickly sparked controversy. Some leaders warned that tying financial recovery to a military victory pushes Europe closer to direct confrontation. Critics argue that if repayment depends on defeating Russia, then prolonged war becomes unavoidable. Adding to the tension, European nations failed to reach consensus on using frozen Russian assets to fund the support package, exposing fractures within the alliance. Europe now faces a difficult balance: prevent collapse, avoid escalation, and still deter future aggression. The future of this conflict remains deeply uncertain. On one side, intelligence voices insist Russia lacks the capacity for broader conquest. On the other, frontline assessments warn that Moscow's ambitions are far from over. Ukraine refuses to surrender territory. Europe is divided on strategy. Diplomatic talks continue, but the battlefield realities remain brutal. So the real question is this: is the world moving toward peace, or simply pausing before a wider storm? This war is no longer just about Ukraine. Its outcome could reshape Europe's security for decades to come. Backhand index pointing right if you want clear, unbiased updates on global conflicts and power politics. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Backhand index pointing right, like the video to support independent analysis. Backhand index pointing right and comment below. Do you think this war will spread beyond Ukraine? Stay informed. The next move could change everything.